friends, and welcome to our midweek connection. I'm John Scott, of course, and it is an honor, as always, to be with you in this space. And I honor you. I honor you for being here. I honor you for your enthusiasm around consciousness and higher consciousness and the expansion. I honor you for being in the Namaste space, where we essentially we say to all people, we respect you and we honor you for where you are in your journey. We make no demands on anyone. We choose to live a life without demands. We choose to live a life that is full of embracing the truth wherever it is located. And I've said to you before, I know I've said this before, that we don't really believe that any one religion has the whole truth. But we do believe that each religion has its own grasp on various truths, and that the truth is what sets us free, makes us free, reminds us really of who we are. Our biggest issue probably in this human expression and experience is forgetting who we are. I call it amnesia, spiritual amnesia. That really from the womb to the tomb, from our birthing until our deathing, we are in the process of remembering what maybe was dismembered in the ether, in eternity, as we were on our way here. I do believe that multiple lifetimes are possible. It's just as possible as dying and going to a heaven that was described by the church, or just as possible as dying and going to a hell that was described by the church, which I don't subscribe to. But we here believe that we're expanding. And as new thoughts come into our frame of consciousness, we choose to expand with that new thought instead of trying to cram that new thought into our current paradigm. We are consistently, constantly expanding. If we allow ourselves to do that, it means we're really more alive. Things that are alive grow. And this is what we're doing. We're growing. We are growing. And as we get involved with the consistent practice of spirit, we will evolve with spirit, of course, in our own space and at our own pace. I'm aware of that. And we honor each person's space and pace. And what we're really here to do as One Love Consciousness Movement and First Unity Spiritual Campus, and this movement of love, joy, and peace, which we believe are the doorways into the highest of vibrations, and enlightenment into the enlightenment. And really, enlightenment is just a fully developed self and soul. As we realize this, we start to understand that my description of the world is really just a revelation of my inner world. That how I'm describing this life is really just a picture of what I believe about my own internal self. And as we are doing that, we're becoming more and more aware of the true self. And the true self is that God divine presence that is within every single being on the planet. We've all been stamped by, our DNA has been stamped by the pure presence, by the divine, by the source, by Tao, whatever word you want to use. And each one of us came here loaded and coated with all kinds of wonderful possibilities. And when we make conscious contact with that, when we make conscious contact with our essential self, the conditioned self tends to fall away a little bit at a time. And then we start to develop these skills of navigating this river that is really called the Tao, the way of presence. And we're not here to control the river. We're here to navigate the river, to flow with the river. If you find yourself exhausted and in a consistent level of suffering, you might ask yourself, what is it that I need to give up? What is it that I need to surrender? In what way should I surrender at this space in my life? At this phase that I'm in? I'm constantly asking myself, John, what about this? Why? Especially when something bothers me. If something is disturbing my peace, my inquiry is not how can I get rid of this, but what in what has just transpired? What in this? What is in this that's trying to teach me? And how can I learn? When the student is ready, the teacher will arrive. And sometimes the teacher is that person that gets on your last nerve. Sometimes the teacher is not that person as much as it is the energy with which they show up. or a circumstance or a situation. And so we can surrender back to it. We can say, okay, teach me what it is I need to learn from this about me. And we grow and continue to, I say grow, glow, and flow with the pure presence. And what a beautiful thing. What a great possibility. Last week we started talking about I started sharing with you my personal life principles. I want to go back over those just to recap those from last week and then give you the other 5. And just, you can see how these land with you. These particular things may land perfect for you, and some other things may not. Take what you can. There's going to be plenty of food on the plate this evening. Take what you can, eat what you can, and just simply don't consume the rest if it doesn't do anything for you. It's better to be blessed than to be stressed. It's best to be blessed rather than stressed. So remain in that consciousness as we go through this evening. I'm going to ask you, if you will, to take just a moment. Let's center ourselves. Right here and right now. We come into this space with our hearts wide open. We come here into this place with our minds in their rightful place. Instead of in charge, instead of leading the charge, we tell the thinking mind to just take the volume down a little bit. And we turn the volume up on our consciousness. We turn the volume up on our spirit. So, Spirit of Truth, take from us what we don't need, bring to us what we do need. We are completely and totally surrendered, mind, soul, and body. Spirit, lead me where my trust is without borders. Let me walk on the water wherever you'd call me. Take me deeper than my feet could ever wander, and my faith is made stronger in this pure presence. Grant that I may have the beginner's mind, free of the clutter and free of the slavery of belief systems. Free to walk out of that house of belief systems into the wide open expanse of all that's possible. I let go of my need to control anything. And in doing so, I live in the freedom and the flow of the Holy Spirit, the source, the creative energy from which everything comes to be. So guide and direct these next few moments together, and we will be sure to say thank you. And so it is. And so it is. Amen. And I'm in. So some of my life principles I shared with you last week, that number 1 is that I realize that I create my own reality through my thoughts and my beliefs. Now, that's something we don't have to exhaust any further. But I realize that, and again, as thoughts and beliefs or things arise, right, that I tend to have tension with or have a sense of suffering with, I remind myself of that. Now, John, you're creating your reality through your thinking and your beliefs. What is it that you want to create? Number 2, every thought is an affirmation, and you don't need to necessarily give it a confirmation. So every thought that's coming is some kind of a thoughts or prayers is another terminology. But which ones am I wanting to get out and into the open opportunities? I don't want to give confirmation just because something is an affirmation. It affirms that there may be some thoughts that could be deprogrammed, right? But if it's a thought that's elevated, that's going to serve me, then I would want to confirm it, not just affirm. Number 3, you attract what you focus on. Where your focus goes, your energy flows, and you start to attract that. And number 4, your intention is the active ingredient in your manifestation. Many of us have, as I mentioned last week, have an IDD, an intention deficit disorder. In other words, we set an intention. I was reminded of just yesterday of a manifestation meditation intention that was set about a year ago, and still has not unfolded exactly. So am I willing to hold to that? Now, without having a sense or a grasping and some kind of a sense of desperation or attachment. So that's important. But am I willing to still hold on to the vibration that I believe that's going to take place? Because the ingredient in manifestation, the active ingredient, because there are many inactive ingredients, but the active ingredient in manifestation is intention. Number 5, you attract who you are, not what you want. We went exhaustively into that last week. More importantly than what you want out of this life is who you are. Because who you are, what you are, let me say what you are is a bundle of energy. And the who that you are activates that energy in one direction or another. It creates the kind of radio station that sends out the signal into the universe. And so what signal are you sending? So this is part 2 of my personal life principles. And I want to begin with this principle here that I live by. Number 6, I learn to relax and let, or I like to use the word allow it to come. This is a Tao approach. This has come through my personal study and being a student of the Tao. That I want to learn how to, and I'm choosing to learn how to relax and let it come. If we go back to last week's, you attract who you are, not what you want. If it is that you're manifesting, you're attempting to manifest something, again, the intention is the active ingredient. This is the part where the non-attachment comes in. This is the part where surrender comes in, and it's very important. To let go of striving and instead start thriving through releasing yourself from being controlled by the outcomes. So I'm relaxing. I'm allowing myself to live stress-free. I'm allowing myself to live in the peace that passes all understanding. Thriving does not happen through getting more done. So, in the Tao, it talks about, when your work is complete, walk away from it. When you have gone into a time of manifestation, you've identified what it is that you would love to manifest and attract into your life, set that agreement and put yourself in alignment with that vibration, and then release it. Because thriving and surviving are two different things. Surviving is making it through something alive, but not necessarily unscathed. Some people who survive situations walk around with the stench of that survival the rest of their life because they still live a perpetual level of victimization. So when you go through something, allow yourself to relax and let the truth be revealed and let the wisdom come through it and release yourself from the hurt or from the pain. Remember that surviving is not near as important as thriving. We weren't born into this life to survive life. We were born into this life to live life. So the way to move from survival to thrival is to relax and let it come. Know that you made it this far. You've set your intention. You've made an agreement and a contract for the life you want to live. Now relax. That's actually true faith. True faith is the ability to relax back into the pure presence and let it come. You release yourself from human doingness and you release yourself into human beingness. Relax and simply allow the miracles to happen. It is not your job to know the how or even the when. What lies within you is your ability through faith to make an agreement for what it is you want. The how and the when is left up to the Tao presence, left up to the universal consciousness to bring it to you in its own due season. So relax and let it come. Number 7, visualize it already happening. So in vision, if you start to feel, once you have set an intention, and once you have looked for manifestation, something that you want to manifest, and you've decided to imagine it, once you've done that, every time you start to feel nervous and like you want to go and try to control it, I've said this to you before humorously, if you plant a seed in the ground and you stand there and you watch it, you're going to become exhausted. You're going to get hungry. You're going to need to go get something to drink. You can't stay. Plant the seed into the soil. When you've done what you can do, walk away. If you stand and you wait for it to grow, you're going to be pretty bored. And in the meantime, you could die if you don't walk away from that piece of ground that you planted the seed in and nourish your own self. And for God's sakes, please don't go back and dig it up to see if it's growing. Let the ground do what it does. Let the seed do what it does. Let the sunlight do what it does. Let the water do what it does. These are all elements of growth. And my only element is to put the seed into the ground, into the soil of my being. Then when I get frustrated, I return to visualizing myself already having it. This is a part of the manifestation process, but go back into the theater of your mind. Look on the screen of your imagination and visualize yourself having that or it happening already. What does it feel like? I'll give you some, for instance. This is not about materialism, but this is about being able to have sort of a touchstone, literally a touchstone for this process. If it's a car that you're needing for transportation, or it's a car that you just want, you really want it. Imagine yourself sitting in the car, and imagine yourself smelling the new car smell. Imagine what the steering wheel feels like. What does the seat beneath you feel like? What do the attachments feel like on the car? The radio knob or dial, the gear shift, all of the things. Envision that, and you can, because envisioning equals out picturing. So relax and let it come, but when you feel that sense of stress, go back into the theater of your mind and look on the screen of your imagination and visualize yourself already having it. And don't just visualize, now this is important, don't just visualize the car. Visualize you utilizing the car. Visualize you experiencing the car. Visualize yourself. Impose yourself into that image. This is a very important part of manifesting what it is you want. It's not just seeing a big bag of money when it comes to you wanting to manifest money in your life. It's not just seeing a big bag of money sitting somewhere, but it's seeing it in your account with your name attached to it, seeing you enjoying the use of it, seeing you operating with the use of that thing. That is what's important with manifestation. Again, it's not just sort of a general, I want that. Be specific. I believe the universe wants us to give it some details. So visualize yourself already having that car. Visualize yourself already in that happy relationship. Visualize yourself already in the career that you want. Visualize yourself with children if you're wanting to have children. Visualize yourself on the dream vacation that you've wanted to go on. Visualize that has already happened, because envisioning will create out picturing. These are principles I live by. I'm telling you. I'll sit in meditations. Sometimes my meditations, the majority of my meditations, I'll say that, are just in the quiet. I'm just quieting the mind and being in the presence. But a manifestation meditation has an intention with it. It's a little different, because really at the root, the most important meditation, in my personal opinion, is your peaceful awareness, your stillness, the quiet. That's the most important meditation. But it's also okay to utilize meditation modalities to develop the imaginations of your mind toward what it is you want. And these would be visualization meditations, manifestation meditations. And these are things I live by. I'll sit sometimes and just allow myself to dream while I'm in a meditative state. And when you do that, your body, literally your physical self, does not know whether or not that actually happened or you've just imagined it. It experiences the same thing. This is what Neville Goddard used to talk about, that it's the experience that makes the difference. Experiencing it, smelling it, tasting it, bringing your sensations and your senses in connection with what it is you're wanting to manifest. It's a very important part of manifestation, and it's really not that hard. You'd be surprised at how easy it can become. I mean, I have visualized myself on cruises before the cruises were ever planned. And I visualized what it felt like to sit next to that pool, on the pool deck on a cruise. Visualized what it felt like and even tasted like and smelled like to be at the table in the dining room. Often with people I didn't know, sometimes seated with people at tables that I didn't know, and what it was like to meet them, people from different countries, people from different parts of the United States. What did it feel like to be at that Coco Cay island? What does it taste like to taste a pina colada, whether it's non-alcohol or alcohol or whatever? What does it taste like? The Royal Caribbean cruises have really good ice cream to me. And so I imagine myself having an ice cream cone. And people will say, that's nuts, that's crazy. Or, it's semantics, but I say it's systems. And these systems do work. So these are things that I use in my visualization. I visualize myself already having what it is I say I want. So number 7 is visualize it already happening. Number 8. I alluded to this a moment ago, but I want to come back to this. Give up the how. The Tao source, the I am, God, has the how in the bag. Let go of striving, going back to our first point and first principle. Give up the how. Don't try to control how it's going to get to you. You already have the what. Be careful that you don't try to control the how, because it's not in your control. The serenity prayer comes to mind here. God, grant me the serenity to change the things, grant me the serenity to change the things I can. Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, and the courage to change the things I can. Give me that ability to give up on the how. Stay with the what, give up on the how. You need only to believe and then to receive. This is why Jesus the Master said that. Ask and you shall receive, seek and you shall find, knock and it shall be opened unto you. Ask and you shall receive. Pat yourself on the chest and say, it's okay. What you've asked for, you are getting ready to receive. So give up the how. Number 9, be grateful for what you already have now. Especially in those moments when you are so concentrated on getting into the how and the when of what it is you're wanting to manifest for your life. When you're getting into the how and the when, remind yourself to be grateful already. The old song from the church, count your blessings, name them one by one. Count your blessings, see what God has done. Count your blessings, name them one by one. Count your many blessings, see what God has done. Put your eyes on, your ears on, your mind on what you already have, and allow yourself to live in that space of gratitude. Live in gratitude as a habit anyway, but especially when those doubting words and doubting thoughts start to crop up and say, oh yeah, that thing you tried to work on manifesting a year ago. Oh my God, I wonder if is it going to take another year? Maybe 10 years, maybe 5 years. How long is it going to take, John? How's that even going to happen? Look at your current circumstance and ask yourself, how is that even going? The math doesn't even work. All of these thoughts that start to come up, those are limiting thoughts. Those are thoughts on lack. Those are thoughts about what you don't have yet. Bring your focus back to what you do have. Give you an example. One of the things that I shared with Carrie is when we first moved to Florida, she had desired for quite some time, several years, to live on the beach within walking distance to the beach for at least a whole summer. The easiest lease rental I believe I've ever seen go down was when she decided, when we felt the call to move to St. Petersburg, Florida, we wanted to specifically go to a beach. And so she looked at 2 places, one on St. Pete Beach and one in Indian Rocks Beach. And the one in St. Pete Beach was not exactly what she wanted. So we left from there and she said, it's fine, but it's not really what I want. And you had to walk across several lanes of traffic to get to the beach. She said, it's just, I don't know, I like it. And if I have to, I'll get it. And I said, babe, don't settle. What it is you want, don't settle. I believe it's going to be. We went to this house, Indian Rocks. Indian Rocks, such a cool space. We were in the house for 2 minutes and she's like, this is it. From that moment until signing the lease was like 3 hours. And it was only 3 hours because the real estate agent had to go get paperwork and things together and then had to get the okay back from the folks who owned the place and were leasing it. Forget this, the whole summer. So for us, every time we come into a situation where there's something that we're wanting to manifest and that we're believing for, I remind myself of that story. I remind her of that story, and we go back into count your blessings already. Be grateful for what you do have. Be grateful for my health. Be grateful for her health. Be grateful for our children's health. Be grateful for a thriving and a growing spiritual community here at One Love, and really One Love First Unity Spiritual Campus as well. The growth that we're experiencing, the excitement, what we're doing to actually shift the consciousness of the planet as we move toward having multiple people who are choosing love, joy, and peace every single day of their life to raise the consciousness of the planet, to offset millions of negative energies that are beneath that, or they're in the lower, weaker sphere of energetic measurements. Remember to be grateful for what you do have. So gratitude is the magic that draws more into your life to be grateful for. Gratitude is the magic to draw more into your life. It draws more into your life to be grateful for. So, again, when you're working on that manifestation, you're working on building the life that you want, relax and let it come. Visualize that it has already happened. Give up the how, let go of the how and the when, I would say, and be grateful for what you already have. Number 10, we'll close with this. Be open to receive. Of all of the things we've talked about, you create your own reality through your thoughts and your beliefs. Every thought that you have is an affirmation. It should not necessarily get a confirmation. You attract what you focus on. Your intention is the active ingredient in the manifestation. You attract who you are, not what you want. Relax and let it come. Visualize it already happening, or you already having it. Give up on the how and the when. Be grateful for what you have now and be open to receive. You'd be surprised at how many people shut themselves down from the life they truly want because they're not even open to receive. There's doubt standing in the way, standing at the door with its foot on the door, with a door stopper, saying it's not possible, or trying to talk you out of what you really want. Be open. An open heart and an open mind allows for so many beautiful opportunities to come into your experience. Be open to receive. Let go of the guilt, the shame, the other things that try to talk you out of your greater good, and simply open your mind and your heart. Most of the time, the heart is open quicker than the mind, because the mind tends to operate in calculating and in measuring, and it operates most of the time through the past. Filters everything you're experiencing right now through the past. This is why you need to teach your mind, not necessarily trust your mind. I just said something powerful there. You need to teach your mind how you want to think and how you want it to operate, not necessarily trust it. Because everything it's saying to you, it's saying from past data that is gathered through information from experiences that you've already had. And it tries to calculate a present moment through a past paradigm. It tries to calculate your future moments through a past paradigm. This is why spirituality is so important, because we can rise above the chatter of the mind that is measuring everything by past experience and invite it into a fresh experience. And this is what it means to be open to receive. I am open to receive through my spirit. My mind and my body will catch up, but my spirit is open to receive. And this brings you into the opportunity of having great experiences. Openness, curiosity, beginner's mind, adventurous heart equals reception, room for reception for your miracles and what it is you're attempting to manifest. Openness, curiosity, having a beginner's mind, having an adventurous heart. Requires that we release lack, limitation, fear, worry, stress, the need to control, and that we let go of attachments to the way things have always been or even the way things might be. And there's even a degree and an openness to receive, to letting go of the outcome. Say this, I am not in control of the life outside of me, but I am the manager of my inner life. My inner world is following my commands. My inner world is following my commands. Instead of the converse, I will not be a slave to the mind or a slave to the limited belief systems. I refuse to be. I decide when and how to shift my consciousness. I choose to do so. So in summation, going back through, these are the principles I've chosen to live by personally. Number one, I know that I create my own reality through my thoughts and my beliefs. Every thought is a prayer or an affirmation, but doesn't necessarily need my confirmation. Depends on the thought. Number three, I attract what I focus on. Number four, my intention or intention is the active ingredient in my manifestations. Number 5, I attract who I am, not what I want. Number 6, I choose to relax and let it come. Less stress is best. So I choose to relax and let it come. Number 7, I visualize regularly what I'm desiring, what I have set my intention for. I visualize it already happening to me and for me. Again, I visualize myself on that vacation. I visualize myself with that amount of money in the bank. I visualize myself healthy and happy. I visualize myself with the car I want, with the life I want, all of those things. And number 8, I give up the how and I give up the when. I have the what, and this is what I visualize. But the rest is left up to the universe and the processes of growth and evolution. So I give up the how. Number 9, I choose to be grateful in every moment for what I have now. And I choose to count those blessings, if nothing else, to encourage the patience and the surrender and peace and serenity around awaiting this manifestation to appear. So I'm grateful for what I have now. And number 10, I am open. My heart is open to receive. I am constantly inviting myself into openness, curiosity, beginner's mind, and adventurous heart. I hope in some way this is a blessing to you. I hope in some way this is maybe going to help you with your processes as you move throughout this space of creating the life you want. These are life principles that I've chosen to live by, and I simply wanted to share them with you this last 2 weeks, and I hope they are a blessing to you. And speaking of being a blessing, I appreciate those of you who are choosing to have a sustaining partnership position with this movement. Those of you who are choosing to give financially. And I'm going to ask you to consider doing that today, this Sunday, this week, this month. As we start to go into a new month, things are picking up. We are growing, and you are a part of that. And it doesn't matter the amount. Whatever you choose to give, whatever's in your heart to give financially is going to be a blessing to this ministry. It's also going to bless you because you're practicing the law of circulation. And so I honor that. The ways to give will be on the screen on the way out of this service. And I will see you in the morning for meditation. I hear the music getting started, so I'm going to leave out here. God bless you all. Go and make it a great evening and a great rest of the week because you can. See you Sunday. Peace.